Hello guys, my name is Marlon Rnunez and I'm a character artist. In this tutorial I want to show you how to create hard surface effectively in ZBrush. What you have here right now is one of the pieces that I create for my character, the one that is explained in the magazine and tutorial. So what I want to show you is especially how to divide the pipeline in, let's say, three mainly steps. The first one is how you need to build an approximation mesh. This approximation mesh, I'm not going to go in details how I did it. The starting point is from a sphere, but using the standard, the move tools, whatever you feel like, just to create something really approximation and to create a shape. As you can see, it's really rough. It's not perfect, but what we want is just something close to the concept or to what we have in mind. From here, we are going to start building our topology in ZBrush. So when you build your topology, basically we divide it in building the topology, then we play with the polygroups, then we play with the panel loops, and eventually we play with the UV master plugin in ZBrush. Alright, so let's start. So once you have your approximation mesh and you're happy with the silhouette, actually, for example, sometimes I used to like to play with flat color, so I see the silhouette of the shape that it fits my needs, but commonly eventually I play with the basic material. So you append a C-sphere here. Commonly I'm working with a lot of subtools, like almost everyone, so try to place this sphere on top of it so you're more organized. With the C-sphere selected, you just need to go on the topology section and just click edit topology. In the edit topology, now you are in the drawing topology mode. So basically it's as simple as just start drawing your quads. Something that you should know about drawing your quads: it's really important that you're working with a big radius brush. As you can see, it tries to always snap. So for example, if I'm building the quad, it will try to snap as accurately as possible. So the bigger is your brush, the more chances you have to snap correctly. The smaller it is, you might happen that it will not snap correctly. Maybe you won't notice, and eventually when you are trying to display the adaptive skin, maybe it won't display better. So make sure you're working with a big brush. Second of all, you should know is that you have also the translation tools. So if you will want to move this quad or move the vertices around and you're not happy completely, you just click and just move around. The bigger is your brush, the more you can move, so it's up to you. And finally, in the draw mode, if you want to delete anything, just click Alt and delete. It will delete the edges or the vertices. Alright, so let's start. As I'm going to build this shape, the hard surface for this shape, and this shape is actually symmetrical, I'm going to work with the active symmetry. If you don't know where is it, just go to the transform menu, active symmetry, and make sure your X mirrors, the X mode is on. Okay, so with here and a big brush, let's try to get here and start building our quads. Well, you can see here that it couldn't stop correctly. That's what I refer when you need to use a bigger brush even. So now I'm going to stop even more correctly. For the move, as I want just to move a vertex, I just put it small and that's all. As you can see, I don't need to go here to play with my size. I just press the S key button and then just play with the size. So it's better. Okay. Press Q to enter to the draw mode back again, and then just keep going. Okay. Things that you should know, I'm going to explain you now. The red dot that you see here is basically your last action. What that means, so whatever you're going to press is going to build the edge between this last action vertex and the new one. If I want to continue my topology on different section or different place, I need to set up where it's going to be my new last action. So if you press Ctrl and just click the new vertex, you see that it will be highlight red. So now I can just keep going from here with no problem, just keeping the flow as I want. Other thing that you should know, try to work as much as possible with quads. I know it's difficult and I won't be doing completely, but still try to make sure that all the quads have more or less the same size. Alright, so my last action is here now. Here, bam, bam, bam. As you can see, I'm following all the all the panels that I draw in the approximation mode. I draw these panels just using the damn standard brush. So the topology pretty much is just going to follow these edges. And anything that will build anything on the middle is basically something topology correct. As we know, her surface is not meant to be deformed, eventually in animations or anything. So it's mainly to make sure that the topology is good enough for a hard surface. Alright? Here my last, it was here, that's the reason because it crossed it. So let's put my last action here and then keep going here. Let's finish this guy here. So bam, and there you go. Let's finish this guy. If you want to save time, something really cool about the drawing mode is that it will try to snap mathematically kind of correct, so it can try to snap on the middle or just in 1/4, or so it's really useful to use this snapping mode. So from this point you just snap and divide as much as you want. So let's keep going. Let's put the last one here and then this one here. Okay, if you want to see what you're doing, here you can go to adaptive skin and preview what you're doing. If you hit preview, and what I'm going to do is to isolate the mesh, get into the polyframe mode. Polyframe mode is here. Alright, right now the density is set to 2, so let's set it to 1 so we can see exactly the topology that we're building. Alright, it looks good. So let's keep going. Let's take out the isolation. Let's take out the preview mode, or just press the A button and then you'll come back. Okay, let's keep going. Something for this character, well, for this piece of the character, is that the side wall in this area is not really, the height is not really considerable, so I'm just going to build the top of this structure. Once I get into these panels, I will start building the wall. This is mainly because actually it's not regular, so what I rather to do it manually. So I will here just start building some topology on this side. So let's keep going from here, maybe here, this one. I will probably do a division here. I just building something rough right now. You know, when you're building topologies, it's kind of like a game. Eventually you can build a topology almost as you feel. Eventually just go by itself. So for example, right now, how I'm going to build this, so probably the best way is try to keep it as much simple as possible and then just try to do it more complex from there on. So from here I just can keep going here. I can just close this guy and then close this other guy, and from here I can try to read where I want to go. Maybe as my last action, let's make another division here, another division here. Wait a second. Let's put division here, and division here. There you go. And here and here. I'm not sure if I need a division here. I think it's okay. And then here, you see, I'm working with a big radius brush, and it's really useful. All the snapping is doing correctly as far as I can see. All the snapping is great. Okay. So far it's looking nice. I'm going to keep finishing the panels here a little bit, and then I will just stop the video and move into the next part of the tutorial. Okay, so let's keep moving here a little bit more. So let's set up my last action here, and let's set up in this direction first. Okay, looks fine to me. Not sure which, depending if you're using Max or Maya, but the ZBrush topology tool is, from my point of view, is really efficient. It's really nice, especially when you're working always inside of ZBrush. It's really cool, the fact that you don't have to be jumping from software to software. As you can see, it's really straightforward. I'm doing nothing special. Control, I want to set up this as my last action. Let's keep moving here. I pretty much need a different shape in this part, but it's okay. Oops, this is not completely symmetrical. Symmetrical is when it's going to stop the green dot. So now I'm fine. I'm good now. Oops. Here, yeah, green. Nice green color. There you go, and there you go. Let's do it like this. Here the snapping didn't went correctly, as you can see. So just Control C. Probably I'm going to move this vertex somewhere else, and this one here, just to give it some more space, and to do it more or less the same size for all of them. So let's set up Control, set up this is my last action point, and keep going from here, and then just close it. Yeah, it's looking good. Everything is quads. Well, of course, just work always with quads. Always with quads. ZBrush that doesn't work really nice with triangles. Once you finish with this, we'll start subdividing. If you have triangles, it will make some funny tensions that you won't like it. Believe me. Okay, so from here I'm just going to stop the video, and I'm going to finish all of this, and then we'll be moving to the polygroup mode. Okay guys, so I just finished the topology. As you can see, I decided to keep it more simple. I decided to take out this edge from here and from here too. So probably I'm going to do it in once we're in the 6th or 7th subdivision. I will just build this with the damn standard. I'm not sure yet, but I just want to keep it even more simple now. Okay, once you are finished with the topology, the next step is to create the adaptive skin. So with the C-sphere selected, just go to adaptive skin, make sure your density is set to 1, okay, and just click make adaptive skin. This is going to create automatically a new subtool, a new tool, sorry. So then we just go and append this one. Okay, so I'm just going to select it now, and we can see our result. Okay, so the next step is create the polygroups. To create the polygroups, you can do it in the old-fashioned way, just unhiding, creating a new polygroup, unhide this thing, or hide something different, create a different polygroup. But to be honest, it's a pain in the ass, because it's kind of difficult to work with this workflow. So what we are going to do is we are going to use the C-model brush that is built in the last version from ZBrush, 4 or 7. So with the C-model selected, that is the brush we are going to use, you have a whole bunch of really cool functions inside. Actually, this brush works depending if you are in vertex mode, edge mode, or face mode. So if you can see, the menu differs from mode to mode. Okay, so in this case we're going to play in face mode. If we are in the polygon mode, let's say, with the polygon mode, we are just going to get to a polygroup. Okay, and the only thing that you should know is that we're going to draw the polygroups. So let's take for instance that we're going to draw this panel here. Probably maybe this panel here that is even easier. So we just have to go here. You can the way to draw, you need to press the Alt button and then just draw your new selection. So just make sure you're basically selecting the panel that you want, and then just click, and then you have a new polygroup. Okay, so let's go with probably this one too. I'm going to do this one as a whole section, and you know what, I might feel like even doing two different polygroups here. Maybe, I'm not sure. I will decide that maybe later even. So click. If you see, if I'm clicking, actually these two polygroups are the same. So what I'm going to do is, once you click it, I press Alt button again. Once I press Alt button is going to swap to a different polygroup color. So the main point is to have the polygroup that you are working around. Make sure any other polygroups that are touching that polygroup, it has a different color. It doesn't matter if there is a green here or a green here. The main point is that they are not touching. So now let's color this guy here. Press Alt, different color, more obvious. For example, this one. Make this guy eventually here. Okay. Different color. Let's make a much different, nice color. Yeah, this one is okay. Let's just come here and then a different color. Purple is okay too. And pretty much that's all. Just select the sections from each panel. Just click Alt, so to a different group mode. Keep selecting, and that's all. It's easy, right? Maybe here even I can even add this one as the same one. No, why not? Let's select this one as the same one. Okay, so here I'm going to do something here. I'm going to activate the symmetry mode and then just keep going here. Okay, I will do those one later. Probably I should activate the symmetry mode before, but it's okay. It's not difficult. It's not a difficult process, this one. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. I'm not going to do the whole thing to show you, but it's pretty much what I'm doing. Okay, so I will finish this first, and then we move to the panel loops. Okay, so I just finished the polygroups. As you can see, it's looking nice. Every panel is divided with its own color, so it's pretty much what we were looking for. Okay, so let's start working with the panel loops. Okay, panel loops is under geometry, panel loops. Sorry, edge loop, panel loops. What it's going to do, panel loops, is going to read which polygroups we have, and then create different panels based in each of them. So let me talk a little bit about the settings that we're going to use. We're going to use first with loop set to 1, that is the minimum. 1 is basically the number of loops is going to be set during the extrude process. So the less I have, the more chances I have to keep playing and keep it simple. Then polish. I would like to play with 0. I don't want any smooth at all. I want to keep the same shape as the one that I was doing the topology before. Then it's really important that you have the ignore group off. so it really take in consideration the polygroups. Make sure your bevel is set to a low level. You can play with 0 if you want. I think 5 is a good value. Also, you have your profile for the bevel, but I mean, right now it's okay. I mean, even the one that goes alone is okay. And elevation, you have minus 100 plus 100. It basically is going to set the direction of the extrude. So 100 is going to set up upwards. So the panel loops will go in this direction. If I set up minus 100, it will try to go downwards. So with these values and double set, double is basically going to make the poly group to be closed down. We just hit panel loops. Here we go. We already have one simple shape that is divided in different panels, as you can see. It's great, right? So the main thing now is to make sure before we start in subdividing is to delete the panel loop or the faces that are not seen. Why? We do it mainly because we are taking in consideration the UV process. Making UVs from all of these can be super annoying because there are all bunch of different shapes. It's a lot of stuff. It can be a lot of work, so we want to speed it up. So what I like to do, I like to delete the faces that are not seen, and then I can use the UV master that is in ZBrush and try to do it automatically. So I just going to select this poly group, the one that is not seen. I will just inverse the selection and then tell hidden. Now this panel loop is completely, the poly group is completely deleted. Okay, so next we're talking about the subdivisions. So by default the subdivisions are set to smooth. The smooth is basically going to polish by any time you start subdividing the mesh. It's going to smooth all the edges, and forecast surface is horrible. So what we're going to do, we're going to set this smooth to 0, and then we are going to play under the formation tab. We're going to play with polish by features. Polish by features, basically what it's going to do is going to read, let me just isolate this panel loop. It's going to read this the colors, the poly groups inside of each panel, and each intersection is going to make a hard surface. So anything here is going to be completely polished, but in this edge is going to be crisp, let's say. By the way, if you don't know how I isolated this panel, because of course by default you will be just seeing this, so just select any poly group in the panel and then just hit Ctrl+Shift+A, and then you're going to have the whole panel seen. Alright, so let's unhide the whole thing. Make sure geometry is turned off. That's great. And then let's subdivide once. We can see that it's more subdivided now. And then just polish by features. And now you can see we have a much better edges. We can do it one more time. Polish by features. One more time. Polish by features. Something that I like to do is I like to play with the panels, and then start playing with the position of them. So maybe you can move one more up, or maybe you want I don't know, maybe this one even lower. So we just isolate, we select with the mask, we make visible everything, then we inverse the mask with the move tool. We just hit on the surface, so it's going to hit the normal direction, and then just move, and then we can start playing with the positions of each panel loop. From here, basically what you have to do is just start moving around the panel loops. With the polish tool you can polish much better the surface, but it's pretty much what you have to do. I'm going to stop here, and then I will going to show you how it's going to look like later. Okay, I just finished the position from the panel loops. I think it's looking pretty nice. We can see here the polygroups. As you can see, I was positioning in them as it was before, like just selecting, moving. In this case, let's select the whole thing. Oh, sorry. Just moving along, moving up, outwards, just do it nicely. And that's all. It's a really nice process because as you can see, it's a kind of really complex shape, but we don't need to make that much effort to start moving any vertex or start extruding shapes or anything. It's pretty cool. Okay guys, I just finished the panel loop positioning. It's looking pretty nice. As you can see, it really looks like a hard surface. It's really good. We can play with, like, maybe destroying a little bit the mesh and everything, but you know, for now it's okay. So once you finish positioning the panels and playing with that, let's talk about the UVs of it. So as you know, before I was talking that you should remove this polygroup because it's going to help you. So once you have all of this finished, let's make sure we have the UV master selected. And what is going to happen right now is that I'm going to automatize the process to make sure ZBrush is going to make the relaxation of each panel just individually. So with the symmetry off, because I don't care really if the symmetry is working, with polygroup I want to set it off because each panel has different polygroups, so I don't want the UVs be separated here. I just want each element by itself to be the whole UV pack. So from here I'm just going to make unwrap. So let's hit unwrap. Oh, sorry, in geometry, unwrap. And that's all. If you want to check out how it looks like, we can just go here to the where is it, the texture map, and then we can create one UV map, and we can actually see the final result. The relaxation, from experience, the relaxation that ZBrush does in these UVs is not perfect. So commonly I used to like to relax them more inside of a different external application. So I really recommend you in this case, try to use go to Maya, Max, I don't know, whichever software you use, and just relax them manually. And also the placement is not great. As you can see, placement is really random, so I recommend you also to go around and start really place these UVs islands as much better, something much more interesting to eventually you could do the textures from. As a final thing that I want to show you, the final result for the whole character, so you can see how everything looked like for every single piece that I did. So this is it. As you can see, every single piece that I was working, it was being worked using the polygroup mode. And every time I was subdividing, most of the time I was doing with geometry set to off, and then under the formation panel, just polish by features. Of course, depends on from shape to shape, but it's mainly the main pipeline. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoy it and you find this tutorial useful, and mainly it really helps you to build anything in the future. So now, from now on, anytime you want to do some hard surface, it doesn't scare you anymore, and you can see that pretty much you can do anything inside ZBrush. Okay, bye.